Hello, everyone. It is Monday night, and you know what that means. That means it is time for the Sunday Night League, SNL GTE. So, for this week, we are here at the Nürburgring, as you can see on that little sign in the top left corner of your screen. And I am just going to make sure everyone in the Discord server can find the link. There we go. So, we are here for SNL GTE Season 11, Round 3. We are at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the 24-hour circuit. So the Nürburgring 24-hour. That, of course, means that we are at the combined circuit. We are, of course, as you can see here, starting on the GP circuit. And then we will be moving on at the end of the GP circuit to the Nordschleife circuit, the Green Hell as it is nicknamed. Let me see if I can pull up the stream myself, because I'm having difficulty doing that for whatever reason. There we go. So, hello Aloe, hello Sarlacc, good to see you here. We have 8 laps of racing in store for us today. I will run you through the grid in just a moment. However, first I do want to run you through the championship order. So, first in the championship, we have Bunnies on 44 points, following 2 second positions. Second place is Wendigo, only 1 point behind on 43 points. Cool Dude Boy, the reserve, sits in third place on 37 points, 6 points behind. Or 6 points behind Wendigo, 7 points behind Bunnies. Tamo is a further 1 point behind in fourth on 36 points. 34 points for Aloe, 32 points for Ajax in sixth. Marigis Tam sits on 28 points. Then it's a 14-point gap back to Ben, who is on 14 points. Followed by Bloodraven in ninth on 12 points. A further 1 point back to Rob on drums in 10th. A further 1 point back to Silent Wolf, who is in 11th. Tiny Terror is in 12th. They both sit on 10 points, Silent Wolf and Tiny Terror. Slenderfella sits in 13th on 8 points. Punisher in 14th, also on 8 points. 7 points for Sutkus in 15th. Sarlacc sits in 16th on 7 points. And Kaiser sits on 2 points, putting him bottom of the table in 17th. As for the Constructors' Championship, we have Ferrari sitting in first place on 131 points. This puts them 19 points ahead of VW, Volkswagen Motorsport, who sit on 112 points. A significant gap back to McLaren on 61 points, and another quite large jump back to Renault on 39 points. So Ferrari leads Volkswagen, leads McLaren, leads Renault. So, there is a piece of news that does need to be discussed before we get going with this race, and that is that the Renault team that I keep referencing is no longer Renault. They will take a penalty that will be announced soon by the admins of SNL. They will take a penalty soon, or they will take a penalty in the championship as they switch cars from Renault to the 2016 Mercedes AMG. Looks lighter than I remember. The driver's thinking it looks a bit lighter. It does actually look quite light out at the moment, but time moves quickly here, and it will get dark for sure. This is a night race. The decision to race here was made by Silent Wolf, our Season 10 champion, the reigning champion. He chose to race here as his champion pick. The driver and constructors champions, of course, get to pick a track on the calendar for the following season. Silent Wolf's request was to drive at the Nürburgring 24-hour layout. for a full nighttime race. Now, of course, we're starting in the evening, so there's a little bit of light for you to get used to the race before it plunges into darkness. And, oh, hello, Alpha Capri. Good to see you in the chat. It's been a little while since you've been able to race. I hope you're able to race again soon. It's always a pleasure to see you in the chat. We'll be back for next season. That is fantastic news, Alpha Capri. I'm really happy to hear that. Let's get going with the grid then. I've run you through the championship. I've explained the team change. I'll give you a good look at the Mercedes liveries as well, of course, the new liveries. And yeah, I think that's about everything. So on pole position today, we have Wendigo, followed by Tamo and Bunnies. So 3 Ferraris in the top 3, just like last week, although in a different order this time. And then we have Silent Wolf, the first of the new Mercedes team. Silent Wolf, the Mauritian driver, the reigning champion, will start behind the championship leader. Here is his Mercedes livery, number 41. So he will start 4th today. 5th place will be Ajax in the Volkswagen. 6th will go to Mauritius Tam, followed by the team principal driver, Sutkis, starting in 7th. 8th will be Slenderfella, making 4 Ferraris in the top 8. 9th will be Kaiser, back again after missing last round in that Swedish McLaren. 10th will be the the Heinz Beans Beetle of Aloe. Number 57 will start 10th. 11th goes to Tiny Terror on this occasion, also in the Beetle. 12th will be Ben, and you can see he has a livery extremely reminiscent of the one he drove in the Renault. Number 2, Ben, German flag there, so this would be considered his home race. We'll see what Ben can do in his home race. Of course, Ben drove the 2020 Mercedes AMG last season of GTE, along with his teammates Gazman, Bunnies, Yax, and Jam. But this time he's in the 2016 Mercedes, so we'll see how he manages that in comparison. Next, in 13th on the grid, number 13, Bloodraven, will go from 13th. The Canadian will be looking to move forwards, and last but not least, 14th is Sarlacc, number 8. And this is his new livery. A little bit less reminiscent of his Renault livery compared to, say, Ben's, but does maintain the same title sponsor, it looks like, SimLab. You can see there on the side as well as on the back bumper there. So it'll be interesting to see how Sarlacc does today from the back. And of course, we are unfortunately missing 2 drivers. We are missing Punisher, and we are missing... apologies, my mind goes blank for a moment. We have 16 drivers. We are missing Punisher, and of course, we are missing Rob on drums. Shame that neither of them could join us today, the Canadian and the American, both missing us. So 15th and 16th on the grid will not be filled. But we have 14 drivers. We have 14 very fast drivers. We have Sarlacc, Bloodraven, Ben, Tiny Terror, Aloe, Kaiser, Slenderfella, Sutkis, Mauritius Tam, Ajax, Silent Wolf, Bunnies, Tamo, and Wendigo, tackling the Nürburgring 24-hour layout. There is no harder circuit in the world, and this race will plunge into darkness rapidly. These drivers need to be prepared for the dangers that come with the green hell. Let's get this race underway. The lights are lighting up. 5 red lights. It is lights out, and we are racing here at the Nürburgring. It is a decent start for the two Ferraris on the front row, but it's a very good start for Silent Wolf, who goes to the outside. He's going to be challenging for the lead down into turn 1. Wendigo leads, though. It's Wendigo, then Tamo, then Silent Wolf in third, as Silent Wolf spins round. At turn 2, the reigning champion is around and into the wall. Wendigo leads ahead of Tamo. Ajax, Bunnies, goes down the inside trying to maintain third position ahead of his brother. Ajax is pressuring him though. He wants that position. The Volkswagen driver is right on the tail of his brother. Then it's Mauritius Tam, Sutkus behind, Aloe, Slenderfella side by side with Kaiser to the inside. Can Kaiser pull off the move, get into P8? He does. He goes down the inside, but Slenderfella's going to try and fight it around the outside. Nothing he can do, as Sarlacc sneaks through on the inside as well. Sarlacc up into 9th. Silent Wolf already recovering well up into 10th, following his crash at turn 2. Slenderfella in 11th, 12th is Bloodraven. Tiny Terror in 13th, and Ben in 14th. These two are quite far off the back of the others. What has happened to the two of them? I would guess it was turn 1 contact, although I'm not seeing what it was. Let's move further back up the grid. What is happening at the front is Ajax is through on his brother into the hairpin. Ajax moves to the inside. How is he going to pull off this move? Later braking? No, possibly earlier braking, as Bunnies runs a little bit wide and is unable to maintain the position. A little bit of a snap of oversteer there for the Canadian, and he sits behind his brother now. Ajax will be looking to push up towards Tamo, who is looking to catch Wendigo, as Wendigo is already flying away from the pack behind. The Lithuanian driver managing well at the beginning of this race, as Tamo runs wide, Ajax runs even wider, and that could give Bunnies a run on Ajax down the long straight of the GP circuit. Can he make a move? Behind him, Mauritius Tam, Aloe, and Sutkus are side by side. Sutkus seems to be edging ahead now. You can see in the background, Bunnies does not go for the move on his brother, but Sutkus and Aloe are side by side. Aloe down the inside into the chicane is through on Sutkus. A nice move there into the chicane. Kaiser running a little bit wide as Sarlacc is off the track. Sarlacc makes a mistake and hits the barrier trying to get onto the Nordschleife circuit. We enter the Nordschleife now, and this is where drivers will really be challenged, as Bloodraven almost going for a move on Slenderfella. At the front, Wendigo leads the way, and look at the gap he's built up there. You could see Tamo come into frame for only a split second, as Sarlacc saying he was rear-ended in that incident, so I wonder what happened there. Well, I mean, I know what happened there. He was rear-ended, as he's told us. An unfortunate moment there for Sarlacc. And that is not what you want to be having happen on lap 1. Wendigo leads the way from Tamo, then it's Ajax, who is side by side with his brother down towards Flugplatz. Can Bunnies pull off the move? Not quite yet. Is he going to look to the outside through the next part of the circuit? Ajax is defending. The VW Beetle driver does not want to give up his podium position. He is yet to score a podium yet this season. Bunnies to the outside. Can he make the move? He backs out of it. Thinks better of it. That is a dangerous crest of a hill to be going for an overtake over, as the circuit kinks to the left before going into this hard-braking right-hander. But it is a swooping right-hander. As hard as you have to brake, you can carry a lot of speed through there. It is an exceptional circuit with some exceptional corners as we weave through the forest now. Bloodraven behind Slenderfella, who is putting pressure on Kaiser in front of him. Oh, there are some dangerous little bits of hill here. There are places all around this track where your car can get air, and it can result in an absolute airplane crash. Flugplatz is one of them. Before the chicane we just went through, there's a kink to the left that's just over the crest of a hill. And of course the corner I was speaking about before with the as Kaiser runs wide onto the grass. Can he save it? Not quite. Into the barriers goes the Swedish McLaren, and that is not what he will have been looking for. Tiny Terror gets through on him. Is Ben close? Oh no, Ben! Ben, what a save from Ben. Keeps it going. Ben actually does have damage that's just repaired himself. He's going to look to get a move on Kaiser. But let's take a look back at the front of the grid. Look at the absurd gap that Wendigo was pulling out on Tamo. Tamo didn't even make it into frame there, as the camera, for some reason, sat just staring at empty track for a bit. So Wendigo is on softs. Wendigo has started this race on a soft compound tire. Behind him, Tamo is on hards. So Tamo, that would explain the struggle to keep up for Tamo. As we go through, I believe, the corner where Niki Lauda had his famous crash in 1976. That fiery crash. We'll hopefully not see any fiery crashes today. I don't think GT7 has a mechanic for fire, so if somebody manages to set a car on fire in this game, I will be very impressed. Tamo sits in second on hard tires, though, so that'll explain at least part of the gap between Wendigo and Tamo. Behind is Ajax and Bunnies, both on medium compound tires. Bunnies trying to put pressure towards, I believe the kink to the left up here is called Courage, or perhaps Bravery. Either way, it requires both as they flick through it. Behind is Mauritius Tam. Mauritius Tam sits on hard compound tires, so also managing quite nicely, much like Tamo, to be in such a high position. Aloe on soft compound tires, though, will want to get through on the Lithuanian driver as soon as he can, as he just about keeps it on track. As we enter the complex of corners that involves one of the most iconic corners in the entire world of motorsports, it is the carousel, the banked corner. Oh, as Aloe is struggling with it, a little bit of oversteer, but he manages it nicely in the end. Silent Wolf is constantly climbing positions. Silent Wolf, it was a crazy start for him. He was in fourth off the line, up into third right away, almost challenging for second and first, and then an incident at turn 2, a sudden spin. And he was dropped right to the back of the grid. Already back up to 7th, though. Silent Wolf is the reigning champion for a reason, and he has an extremely good record here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he has won all 3 races that SNL GTE has done at this circuit. Every time we go to the Nordschleife, Silent Wolf is an absolute madman. Oh my goodness, though, as Aloe and Silent Wolf both nearly spin it, almost dropping it on the lead up to YouTube corner, as Sutkus manages it nicely, Slenderfella behind, and there's Bloodraven running a little bit wide, but just about keeping it on track. Sarlek and Tiny Terror are going to be battling here. Ben behind, and Kaiser, as Kaiser has had another incident. So it is not looking good for Kaiser on these mediums, perhaps mediums, just not the Swedes' tires. Wendigo hits the second carousel. I know that has an actual name other than the second carousel, but I frankly do not know it. So that is the second carousel as far as I am concerned. It is the second banked corner on a circuit with 2 banked corners. So it's the second carousel. Wendigo leads onto the long straight now. Tamo ahead of Ajax and Bunnies. Bunnies is really close behind Ajax. Ajax not too far behind Tamo, though. Will there be a move here between the 2 Canadian drivers, and could they even catch up to Tamo and make a move then? Bunnies goes to the right. Can he make the move? In the slipstream, with that Ferrari 296, he is through in the Speed Racer Ferrari on the Beetle's Beetle, and he pulls into the slipstream of his Ferrari teammate there. Tamo, Wendigo in the lead, is hitting the end of this lap now. Tamo behind, though, with Bunnies, Ajax, Mauritius Tam, Silent Wolf not far behind him. They are 3 wide in the background. Aloe, no, Sutkus. Who is that 3 wide in the background? It was Slender. Are they not 3 wide? Yes, they are. Tiny Terror and Sarlek side by side here. They weren't quite 3 wide. Actually, they may not have even been side by side. There are some deceptive camera angles here, apparently. Bloodraven, Tiny Terror, and Sarlek, as Wendigo and Tamo and Mauritius Tam are all in the pits. So Wendigo on soft tires into the pits. Tamo off of hards, Mauritius Tam off of hards, Aloe off of softs, Sutkus off of hards. My god, that is difficult to keep up with. Slenderfella off of hards, Sarlek off of softs, and Tiny Terror off of softs. So a reminder now, as we see these drivers pitting, that the tire rules this season are very simple. They involve using softs, mediums, and hards at least once throughout the entire race each. So, Wendigo has used softs already. He is now on hards. All he has to do for the rest of the race is run mediums. Tamo was on hards. Now he's on softs. All he has to do for the rest of the race is run on mediums. As Sarlacc does confirm what I thought was going on, there was a 3-wide moment in the background. 2 wheels on the grass for an overtake, he says. As Tamo's going to look to the inside of Bloodraven, he's unable to make the move. Bloodraven has not pitted yet. Tamo is fresh out of the pits on these softs, and he is through under acceleration, as that Ferrari on fresh softs proves powerful. The number 53 Red Bull Ferrari through on Bloodraven. Behind is Ben, also has not pitted yet. Meridius Tam on fresh softs, he'll be looking to get through on Ben. Aloe on fresh hards will be looking to not drop positions, as we see Sutkus on fresh softs will be looking to make sure Aloe does drop positions. Sutkus will want to make this move. Can he go to the inside? A little bit of contact there, but it looks like both drivers make it out okay, just about, yes. And Sutkus on the inside, will he be able to make the move through the kink to the right? It'll be a left-right chicane up next. Aloe will have the inside line as the VW just pulls ahead down the straight. Into the chicane though, Sutkus brakes a bit too late across the gravel, and he makes it out unscathed, but he will lose some time there. Slenderfella, fresh out of the pits, onto soft compound tires. He, of course, was not racing in round 1, but he got here for round 2, replacing the non-finisher from round 1, Secret. Kaiser has not pitted last lap. He's on mediums up to 12th. Sarlacc, fresh out of the pits onto hards. Tiny Terror, fresh out of the pits onto mediums. Tiny Terror and Sarlacc are nearly side by side. Will go into Tiny Terror's car as he sits behind Sarlacc. A little bit of lag from Sarlacc, it looks like, unfortunately, but Tiny Terror still trying to put pressure on him nonetheless. Through the kink to the right, and it's a bit wide for Tiny Terror, and he's around. Tiny Terror into the wall, he fully spins it, and that is not what the Brit will have been looking for. The number 59 VW facing the wrong direction now. Bunnies leads the way in the Ferrari, followed by Ajax. Since Bunnies got through on the long straight, he has pulled a fair bit of time on Ajax. You could see Ajax in the background for a split second there. So not a huge gap, but a notable gap. I would say Bunnies is no longer under pressure from Ajax, it would seem. Silent Wolf sits in 3rd. The reigning champion picked this circuit knowing he'd be rapid here, and he is indeed. Despite his initial crash, he is rapidly gaining positions. He is one fast driver, and he is one to look out for. Despite that incident at the start, I would say look out for him potentially even getting himself into the fight for the win later on in the race. He could pull off something incredible. Wendigo sits in 4th position. Tamo is not far behind now, though. Wendigo is, of course, on hards now with Tamo on softs. On the first lap, it was reversed. Wendigo was on softs with Tamo on hards. So Tamo is looking to put pressure on his Lithuanian teammate now. Bloodraven dropping further off the back of them, although I don't think he can be blamed on worn mediums. Meridius Tam pushing forwards towards his teammate ahead of him. Fresh softs will be powerful. There goes Meridius Tam there, number 5. And of course, as I was saying at the beginning of the race, we will be plunged into proper darkness for this race. And that is what we are experiencing now. Ben looking to get some better results than he was getting on the Renault. The Renault was not proving very useful. It was strange. It was a very rapid, almost dominant car back in Season 8 when Victory Rain and his team took it to the championship, certainly the Drivers' Championship, I believe the Constructors' Championship as well. But it was used again this season, and unanimously within the team seems to be, or seemingly unanimously, I don't think I've actually spoken to everyone in the team about the Renault, but a lot of people seeming to have some struggles with it, so perhaps it has been nerfed into the ground seemingly by Polyphony. So the Renault not doing as well as they would have hoped. They switched to the Mercedes. This has been done before in SNL back in Season 5, The Mustangs switched to the McLaren mid-season, took I believe a 25% point penalty. I'm not exactly certain what it was, but they took some sort of points penalty in the championship, constructors and drivers wise, and were allowed to switch cars for the remainder of the season. The admins are yet to announce what the penalty will be for switching cars this time, but there will be one, I'm sure. Volkswagen Aloe makes a mistake at courage or bravery. I do need to figure out which of those it is called, but falls behind Slenderfella with that mistake. Did he get damage? He did not, but the Hards won't be happy with him, I'm sure. Slenderfella threw on Aloe into the carousel. How does he manage the braking? He manages it well. I meant to say the banking, but my brain went with braking, and we went with that. Does manage both the braking and banking well, though, so good job, Slenderfella. Fresh Soft proving powerful, although I would say at this stage in the lap, they're not so fresh anymore. Up at the front, Bunnies continues to lead the way on those mediums. He will need to pit at the end of this lap. Oh, a bit of air there. A lot of the cars, if not all of them, get some air over that crest of the hill. I often find braking while you're in the air is about the right braking point for that corner. That has been my experience in past. Ajax manages it nicely. Silent Wolf through the jink to the right now. Into this high-speed section, you can get some air if you go too far to the left over that crest of a hill. There are a surprising amount of parts of this track where you can get air very easily. As Wendigo has Tamo right behind him. Well, right behind him. He's a few seconds back now. Tamo is looking to pressure Wendigo, though. Marigistan has gotten through on Bloodraven since we last took a look at them. He's not actually too far behind Tamo and Wendigo. It's a notable gap, but it's not humongous. A mistake from Tamo or Wendigo could put Marigistan into play here. Bloodraven is on old mediums. He'll be needing to pit at the end of this lap. So will Ben, I would think, being on old mediums as well. The Mercedes driver is going to look to the outside. Can he pull off a move on Bloodraven down here? Not yet, but the Mercedes will be looking for an opportunity. The team and this driver on home turf. Oh, it's a bit of a mistake from Ben. Into the grass. It's going to be hard to maintain his momentum like this, but he does pull it off. He manages not to spin. And onto the long straight. Will he have slipstream on Bloodraven? He might be a little bit far back for that. Slenderfella behind. Ooh, he's looking a little bit low on fuel. I do hope he makes it to the end of this lap without running out. Aloe on hards. He's almost done his hard stint. He'll be hoping to put on mediums after this, I would imagine. Sutkus on softs. Kaiser on mediums. The same mediums that were giving him some trouble at the beginning of this race. Sarlacc and Tiny Terror behind. Wendigo takes the lead of the race. He's on hards and he's going 2 laps on these hards. So Wendigo has usurped the lead of this race. Bunnies exits the pits into P2 on mediums. Then it's Ajax, also on mediums. What will Silent Wolf come out on? As Tamo still refueling behind up to 100, I would guess he'll be coming out on mediums then. Silent Wolf onto mediums. Tamo. It'll still say softs for now. What will it actually be? He goes on to mediums. So I think just about everyone, if not literally everyone, is boxing this lap. No, Sarlacc, it looks like Sarlacc and Tiny Terror will be continuing on. So Tamo came out on mediums, Marigistan onto mediums, Sarlacc up into 7th on hards, Bloodraven on mediums, Ben on mediums, Slenderfella on mediums, Aloe on mediums, Tiny Terror stays out on mediums, Sutkus and Kaiser will be coming out of the pits in a moment. Tiny Terror managing turn 1 and 2 now. Sutkus comes out on mediums and Kaiser comes out on softs. So all but Tiny Terror and Sarlacc have boxed this lap. Sarlacc will continue on his old mediums, while Tiny Terror will continue on his old hards. I think I said that in the wrong order. Wendigo sits in first on hards. followed by Bunnies on medium, so he will be looking to gain on his teammate here. He finished the last race 2.5 tenths behind his teammate. That was the gap from first to second. The previous round it had been 7.5 tenths between Cool Dude Boy and Bunnies. So Bunnies has been second both times so far this season, sitting in second now. And hello, Pat. Good to see you in the chat. Missed a quarter of the race, but that's all right. And hello, Slenderfella, as well. I agree fully. The brakes at night look fantastic. Let's see if we can get a side view of one of these cars for a moment. Maybe Silent Wolf, you can provide us with some glowing brake discs. Or not. Cool. I love when this game just doesn't do what you want it to do. Tamo sits in 5th, Marigistam in 6th, 7th is Sarlacc, 8th is Bloodraven, and 9th is Ben. And it looks like there's some action behind Aloe and Slenderfella. Aloe in 10th ahead of Slenderfella, but Slenderfella is looking like he's putting some serious pressure on him here. Can Slenderfella get a move? Let's go inside Slenderfella's car. As it looks like a little bit of understeer out of that corner in the dirty air of the Volkswagen Beetle. You can see Mr. Dean staring back at us there. Can Slenderfella make a move? It's going to be up towards Flugplatz next. It would be a bold move into there, but perhaps through the long, straight-ish section afterwards. Up towards Flugplatz. He looks to the inside. Surely not yet, though. He doesn't go for it yet. He's going to try and pull into the slipstream again. Aloe has a better exit out of Flugplatz. Flugplatz, I believe, German 4 airfield. Somebody will need to correct me if I'm wrong about that. But I believe German 4 airfield because cars tend to take off there. We've seen some monstrous crashes in real life there because of that. And we've seen some monstrous crashes in SNL, I'm sure, and just generally in GT7 at that corner as well, because it is a very tricky corner. Tiny Terror sits in 12th. 13th is Sutkis and 14th is Kaiser. The two McLarens rounding out the back of the grid, but I'm sure the two of them will be looking to see if they can gain some more positions. Sutkis qualified well. Oh, his Slenderfella's gone round. We just went away from him. What has happened to Slenderfella? Sitting behind Aloe, putting pressure on him. Oh, it's just straight on over the crest of the hill. That is one of the hardest bits of the track, in my opinion. I find that is one of the most common places for me to make mistakes. And Slenderfella looks like he was struggling to find first gear there. Oh, does well to notice the cars coming and stop at the last moment. That got close. That got scary. But in the darkness of the night, Slenderfella survives to continue racing. Kaisergrim sits in 13th now, behind Sutkis, apologies, then behind Tiny Terror. Aloe in front of him. Bloodraven under a bit of pressure from Tiny Terror, looking to put some pressure on Sarlacc on those, or under pressure from Aloe, looking to put some pressure on Sarlacc. Ben ahead of him in 7th. Marigistam in 6th. Tamo sits in 5th. Silent Wolf in 4th. Ajax in 3rd. Bunnies is still trying to gain on Wendigo, but look at the gap there. Wendigo hits the brakes for the hairpin before the carousel, as Bunnies is looking through Bravery now. Courage. I feel like that's called Courage. I really need somebody to tell me which of those it is, because I'm not going to be able to figure it out on my own. I could search it up, but I'm busy commenting. Oh, as Ajax is off the track! Ajax runs a bit wide, but manages to keep the momentum. Good on him for keeping that going. We'll watch Bunnies through the carousel. The carousel is one of the interesting corners on this track, in my opinion, for GT7 specifically, because what you'll find is that I find drivers on wheel, it's the one corner in the entire game where somebody who is on controller is genuinely disadvantaged. I have 99% of times found that a controller player and a wheel player on the exact same level, the controller player will be slower through the carousel. There's something about the nature of that banking that controllers just struggle with a little bit more, I think. outside of that, we have had some unbelievably talented drivers on controller. I believe Victory Rain drives on controller. If I'm not mistaken, actually, Silent Wolf is on controller, as he has picked up damage in the past few seconds. Ooh, over the curb there and into the wall, picks up some damage, but manages not to lose too much momentum. Silent Wolf will continue on from that scary moment. But yes, we've had some fantastic drivers on controller over the years, but that is, so I don't think controller is necessarily inherently slower than wheel, but around that one corner, I do think it struggles more. Aloe behind Sarlacc, Tiny Terror behind him. Bloodraven is looking to put some pressure on him, though I believe that means Tiny Terror... Excuse me. I believe that means Tiny Terror recently got past Bloodraven, so the Canadian driver will be looking to put some pressure on the British Volkswagen driver. The Beetle there, managing these corners nicely. Bloodraven looks to the inside, can't quite make the move. Bloodraven, oh, as Tiny Terror's had some oversteer, and he's into the wall. Tiny Terror gets it going. We'll see if Sutkus, where is Sutkus? Oh, as Tiny Terror seems to have had a spin trying to get it going again. Kaiser's through as well, so is Slenderfella. Bloodraven then gets the position. Sutkus, Kaiser, and Slenderfella make up positions as well, as I think Tiny Terror has left the race, unfortunately. Wendigo down the long straight, low on fuel, but he should make it to the end of the lap. He is on hards. I would guess that he'll be putting on mediums next. Maybe softs, hard to say. I can't imagine he'll want to go further on the hards of course being the slowest tire. The softer the tire, the shorter it lives, but the faster it goes. That is the general rule of thumb. Bunny's behind on mediums, then Ajax, also on mediums. Silent Wolf. On board with Silent Wolf, you can't actually see Ajax ahead, but if you go to Tamo behind, you can see Silent Wolf right up there. Wendigo into the pit lane. Bunnies onto the GP circuit, continues on for another lap. How about Ajax? Ajax looks like he will, based on the fuel. He does indeed. Silent Wolf, I would assume, will be the same. Similar with Tamo. Merigus Tam looks like he'll be in the same boat. Same with Ben. Looks like Sarlacc will be on this lap, though. Aloe on mediums will continue at the end of this lap, I would think. Similar with Bloodraven, Sutkus, Slenderfella, and not Kaiser, though. I think Kaiser will be in at the end of this lap. As Slenderfella's got some damage on both ends of his car. Front end damage is gone, rear end damage is gone, just in time for the long straight. So Bunnies and Ajax are first and second. Bunnies is wearing out his rear tires a lot more than Ajax, though. Wendigo out of the pits into third. He'll be looking to pressure the Volkswagen driver in both of the previous rounds. Wendigo and Ajax have had some very good battles. I'm curious to see how it will go this time, as I would imagine those fresh softs will carry Wendigo towards the Canadians at the front of the grid. Silent Wolf sits in fourth position, so he was unable to get ahead of Wendigo with Wendigo's pit stop, but he does still sit ahead of Tamo, as well as Merigus Tam. Merigus Tam a little bit further back, and the excellent news here is that in the top six, I should say, we do have all four teams in the top six. We have Merigus Tam in a McLaren in sixth. We have a Ferrari of Tamo in fifth. The Mercedes of Silent Wolf in fourth. Wendigo in a Ferrari, as is Bunnies ahead of him and Ajax. But Ajax is in a Volkswagen, and that means all four teams do occupy the top six. Wendigo right on the back of Ajax now. That Ferrari has a lot of headlights on it. Goes to the outside, out of turn one of the Nordschleife section, shoves it down the inside. Can he make the move through the kink? He does! He goes for it. Ajax tries to fight it, but he can't do anything. Two wheels on the grass, and he falls behind. What a move from Wendigo. It's bold, it's audacious, but it is strong, and he is through into second. That was a much more short-lived battle than some of the others these two have had. But Wendigo through now, with 6 headlights on his car, into second position. Bunnies will be his next target. Bunnies only has 2 headlights on his Ferrari. Wendigo has 6. That Volkswagen has 6 of them as well. I wonder how many Tamo has. Tamo only has 2. Silent Wolf's got 4. Mergis Tam only has 2. Ben has 4. Loey will have 6 as well, I would imagine. I would imagine it'll be uniform throughout the remainder of the grid. Slenderfella only has 2, so Wendigo the only Ferrari with the added headlights, but I would imagine that will be helping in this round, as we are really racing in darkness. Let's go on board with Wendigo. This will be more or less what he sees. So those lights are actually proving quite useful, illuminating the track well comparatively. I don't think Bunny's headlights are doing a bad job, but I do actually wonder if Wendigo's are proving more useful. Ajax as well, those look like perhaps some weaker headlights. So I do wonder if the Volkswagen drivers will be struggling this round. Tamo running well ahead of Silent Wolf now. How has he pulled off this move? He seems to have pulled it off a while ago now. So Tamo is up into 4th position though, ahead of Silent Wolf. Mauritius Tam sits in 6th now. Ben in 7th. Aloe in 8th. Sutkis 9th. Blood Raven in 10th. Was Sutkis looked like he was on the grass there? He is indeed. Sutkis spins around. Sutkis over the crest of the hill into the right-hand kink. Just carries a little bit too much speed into the outside wall. Looks like he's spun across the track, although that is not a camera angle to show it. And he gets going now, but Sutkis will be taking severe damage from that one. He gets going now, but he will be compromised all the way down this straight. As we can see behind him, Slenderfella is approaching rapidly. Slenderfella into the slipstream now, and of course the car ahead has damage through the kink to the left, into the right-hander. Slenderfella goes to the inside. Can the Ferrari driver pull off a move here? Can he do it? There's a bit of wheel banging, some door banging. Rubbing is racing, they say in NASCAR. Slenderfella is through into 10th position. And Sutkis, following his incident at Flugplatz, drops another position. Sarlacc down into 12th. He did take a pit stop last lap though, and he's onto soft compound tires now. He's used hards and softs, I believe, but no mediums yet. Unless he did use mediums at the beginning. Maybe he did. I'm not sure. Kaiser in 13th on hard compound tires. So last but not least, the Swede will be struggling on this stint, I would imagine. Those hards are a tricky set of tires, but seemingly managing them reasonably well as it stands, as a possibly a 6 km/h speed limit sign was illuminated briefly, which seems strange at a racetrack. I don't think anybody here is following that speed limit. Bunnies leads the way, ahead of Wendigo. Wendigo is gaining on him though. Bunnies into the carousel now, and you could see those glaring headlights of Wendigo behind, who will enter the carousel now. So Wendigo gaining on his teammate. Ajax in 3rd. 4th is Tamo. 5th is Silent Wolf, still keeping nicely on the back of the Lithuanian driver, so it's Lithuania versus Mauritius here. Silent Wolf on mediums. So is Tamo, though. These two are in effectively the same boat, tires-wise, as it stands, although I do not believe Silent Wolf has used softs or hards yet. So Silent Wolf will still need to do that, whereas Tamo can go to the end now on 2 more sets of mediums, presumably. I don't think 1 set of tires is going to bring you 4 laps, so we'll need 2, but I would imagine we'll see him doing 2 more 2-lap stints on mediums. I think that would be the standard for anybody who's already used softs and hards. Silent Wolf right behind, though, is putting pressure on him, and although Silent Wolf will have a hard stint to do, he will also have a soft stint. So we'll see how Silent Wolf manages that. Further behind, Murgistam running a calm, quiet, perhaps a bit lonely, but strong race, sitting in 6th position. He picked up his first SNL top 5 last time out. He'll be looking to replicate that this time, but that will be a tall order with the 5 drivers that are ahead of him now. Ben sits in 7th, seemingly managing better with that Mercedes than with the Renault, so it looks like it may have been a good swap for that team. A Lowy behind in the Beans Beetle. We have some fantastic Beetles on the grid this season. We have some fantastic cars on the grid this season, both in terms of sheer car design. I'm a big fan of the 296 personally, and that Mercedes. I think that Mercedes is a beautiful car, but I especially love that 296. But we also have some phenomenal liveries on the grid this season. Slenderfellas is one that I've grown quite fond of. I really like Slenderfellas. I'm not usually a crazy big fan of a yellowy car, but that yellow and purple does work very well together. I don't inherently hate all yellow race cars, but perhaps one of my lesser preferred paint schemes, or paint colors for a car is yellow. But Slenderfellow's car uses it really well, I think. It's probably among my favorite liveries this season. It's honestly too bad it wasn't here for round 1. It's a beautiful livery. Sutkas behind in 11th. The Lithuanian driver is looking to get further up the grid now. He qualified very well today. He's been showing brilliant pace this round and last. But we'll see if he can put it all together in the race. I suspect perhaps mistakes creeping in are the main issue for him. Sarlek in 12th. Kaisergrim in 13th. We have our top few drivers in the pits. The top 5 all in the pits. Excuse me, Bunnies, Wendigo, Ajax, Tamo, and Silent Wolf all in the pit lane now. Murgistam coming to the end of the long straight. He'll be in the pits soon enough. Bunny's on his way out of the pits now. He's on mediums now. What will he be on after? Still mediums. Wendigo was on softs. He puts on mediums. Ajax, still refueling. Gets going now. Yellow Submarine. Despite not being a very yellow car. Out of the pits onto mediums, and Silent Wolf is right on the tail of him now, on soft compound tires. Silent Wolf has only filled up for 1 lap, though, of fuel, so Silent Wolf will have a pace advantage on Ajax here, we would imagine. But he'll have to pit at the end of this lap, whereas Ajax, Wendigo, and Bunnies ahead are all able to go 2 laps on this stint, presumably. Similar with Tamo behind on mediums. Murgistam coming out of the pits now. Puts on a set of mediums. Aloe, Bloodraven, Slenderfella, Ben, no, I thought I saw Ben. There we go, Ben. Oh, Ben has damage. So I wonder if Ben is, oh, Ben has had an incident here. What has happened to Ben? Oh, there was contact with, Bloodraven. They're side by side. That's Ben on the outside, Bloodraven on the inside. Ben makes the move, gets through on Bloodraven, who breaks, and, just a bit of, it's hard to tell there what happened, but just couldn't quite slow down in time. The darkness makes it hard to see, but Bloodraven looked like he struggled to slow down, and Ben, in turn, into the wall, gets going with some difficulties, has damage on the rear end, and will limp back to the pits. That should repair itself while he's in the pits, thankfully. And it won't cost him any extra time. But still, that is not going to be a pleasant one for Ben. Sarlek in 12th goes through the incident scene of his teammate, continues on, and he should be in at the end of this lap here. Yes, he does. He does pit. Kaiser looks like he will be continuing on for another lap, given his fuel. So let's see. Murgistam came out of the pits a little while ago on mediums. Aloe is coming out now on 93% on mediums. Mediums for Bloodraven. Let's see what Slenderfella comes out of the pits on. Yellow and purple. Puts on yellow tires. Mediums. Well, yellow in F1. Sutkas, mediums. Ben, mediums. Kaiser, still on hards. Hits the brakes. Brakes glowing. There we go, through turn 2. He's going to be right on the back of Ben, but Ben's fresh mediums should prove powerful against worn hards. Well, they haven't taken that much wear. Kaiser seems very nice on those tires, actually. I would have expected them to take a little bit more wear than that over an entire lap, but Kaiser seems to be managing them nicely. Sarlacc out of the pits on mediums. Bunnies leads the way, but you can see now Wendigo is putting pressure on him. Both of these drivers on mediums. Wendigo, oh, a bit of a snap of oversteer there. Wendigo continues on. Silent Wolf has gotten through on Ajax, who is on mediums compared to Silent Wolf's softs. So Silent Wolf perhaps will be the fastest of the top 4 on this stint. 5th is Tamo as it stands. 6th is Mergis Tam on mediums. Thought it said hards for a moment. I was about to be very confused because I could have sworn he was on mediums. And I was correct, he is indeed on mediums. I missaw. Mediums for Eloy as he exits the GP circuit now onto the Nordschleife and plunges into the true darkness of the night. Bloodraven in 8th, Slenderfella in 9th, 10th is Sukas, 11th is Ben, runs a little bit wide there, still under pressure from Kaiser, but I think Kaiser will struggle to... Oh, Ben has gone round! Ben has spun round. What happened here? Did he take too much curb, maybe? Curbs at this circuit are vicious. Oh, he runs a bit wide here. Commented on that. Goes to the inside. And yeah, it looks like maybe a bit too much curb. Or maybe that Mercedes is just a bit of a beast to try and handle. He is at least the second Mercedes we've seen spinning. Oh, he's struggling to get it going even. It looks like that Mercedes maybe has some difficulty keeping the rear end. He's not the first Mercedes we've seen spinning this race. Sarlacc, I don't think we've seen spin yet, but he is in that Mercedes. The Mercedes we have seen spin is Silent Wolf, out of turn 2 on the opening lap. It looked like a scary one there, and I can't imagine the feeling of spinning and then just having the entire field coming at you. I can't imagine that. I've had that happen before. It's not a pleasant feeling. Don't recommend it. 0 out of 10 experience. Please don't try it. It is not fun spinning in front of the entire grid. Tamo sits in 5th position. He's looking to hunt down Ajax here. Ajax not too far ahead on mediums. Going down the hill. And a little fun fact for you here. For a long time I've considered the houses over to the right there that you can no longer see because of that fencing. We'll go to Mergis Tam in a moment, but there are some houses over there back that you can see. Oh, Mergis Tam is actually a little bit further back than I had thought. You can see some houses down there. Nope, not there. Those are trucks. Ignore me. Pickup trucks even. There, the houses down there. That's my dream house to live in. I want to live in one of those. I mean, can you imagine how cool it would be to live right next to the Nordschleife? I don't actually know if those are houses or hotels or what, but I want to live there. I think that would be really, really cool. I like Germany. I think it's cool. Never actually been there. I mean, I've been in an airport there. I've never been to Germany properly, but it seems like a nice place. And, like, seriously, can you imagine having your house right next to arguably the coolest racetrack in the entire world? Like, that would be awesome. As the Ferraris at the front are now nose to tail, Wendigo is putting pressure on his Canadian teammate here. Wendigo right behind Bunnies, as we are blinded by Wendigo and Bunnies, frankly. Those I know I've commented on there being 6 headlights on that Ferrari of Wendigo, but there are a lot of there's a lot of power behind the headlights of Bunnies as well. Speed Racer Ferrari ahead of Arc Raiders Ferrari. Who will come out on top? Hard to say, although I will point out, Wendigo has no tire requirements to fill out now. He can do whatever he wants to the end. Bunnies has 2 laps after this one, 3 laps after this one, to use softs and hards on. So he needs to figure that out. And it looks, based on his fuel, like he won't be boxing at the end of this lap. So Bunnies will need to use softs and hards in the final 2 laps of this race, presumably. Wendigo right behind. Let's compare their fuel. Wendigo has a little bit more fuel than Bunny's does. Tire wear looks effectively the exact same. Silent Wolf behind will be boxing at the end of this lap. He is on softs. I don't believe he's used his hards yet, though. I do think he still needs to do that. Ajax behind on mediums. Gets a bit of airtime. Camo right behind does the same. Let's sit inside Tamo's car. Actually, let's take a look up here. Bunny's was under pressure from Wendigo. Maintains his lead through the second carousel. Onto the long straight, I could see that changing in a minute. Tamo is pressuring Ajax, though. Can he pull off the move soon enough? Down the long straight might be his best opportunity as well. We'll take a look, Bucket back up at the front too. How close are they? Is Wendigo in slipstream? I would imagine he is, but he doesn't look like he's quite close enough, as at the moment he's closing in on his Ferrari teammate. Can he pull off the move? He's really tucked into the slipstream now. He pulls out. Can he make the move? Through the kink to the left, he'll have the outside, but he's through on his teammate. On lap 5, Wendigo usurps the lead from Bunnies. Through the final chicane of the lap, Wendigo leads the way. Tamo's ahead of Ajax now. He slipstreamed past him on the straight. Bunnies behind Wendigo will be starting lap 6, so that means Bunnies has not pitted on this lap, but Bunnies is not giving this position up. He pulls into the slipstream. He goes to the outside. Turn 1. Can he go round the outside of his teammate? Wendigo on the inside. That'll turn into the outside now, and Bunnies is able to force him out a little bit wide. A bit of oversteer there for Wendigo will help Bunnies get through back into the lead. So Bunnies reclaims the lead. He only lost it for a few corners, and the Speed Racer Ferrari is back through on the Arc Raiders Ferrari. Ajax, ahead of Tamo now, has done the exact same thing as his brother. Let's take a look at this move. Ajax sits in the slipstream, trying to get through on Tamo. Tamo in the Ferrari, and Ajax to the inside, hits the brakes. He has the inside line, but that'll turn into the outside if he can't get through properly. He does, though, so now he has the inside line for both corners. But Tamo's going to try and get him under acceleration down towards the next set of corners into the slipstream. He's not going to be able to pull off the move yet. Oh, it's almost a bit of contact there, it looked like. That got close. Silent Wolf on his way out of the pits. What will he put on? It's a set of the hards. So he's filled up for 2 laps. And he's going to put the hards on and try to manage those 2 laps. Mauritius Tam in 6th on lap 6 on mediums. He has a comfortable gap, a small gap ahead, and a very comfortable gap behind, as Aloe is not even off of the Nordschleife yet, while Mauritius Tam is heading into turn 3 of the GP circuit. Aloe looks like he could be under some pressure from Slenderfella, though, so Slenderfella and Aloe have been close together a number of times throughout this race, I think. Slenderfella is in the slipstream. Is he close? Well, is he close enough to have slipstream? He's on, I'd say he's probably teetering on the edge of having slipstream on Aloe here. A bit further back is Sutkus, then it's Bloodraven. These two are, of course, teammates, but Sutkus is also Bloodraven's team principal. Then it's Kaiser, Ben, and Sarlacc. So it looks like actually the McLaren's having a bit of a tough round. Mauritius Tam sitting comfortably in 6th. As I said, a very comfortable gap behind. But outside of him being in 6th, it is the McLaren's 9th, 10th, and well, not even 11th, because Kaiser has pitted. So Kaiser's down to 12th. Will Sarlacc get through on him as well? He does. So the Mercedes will move through on Kaiser. So, on that note, 9th, 10th, and 13th. Aloe's saying the Ferrari has some crazy strong straight line speed. It does indeed. Oh, as Bunnies and Wendigo are side by side. Wendigo going for the move on the outside. He backs out. Thinks better of it. That'll turn to the inside. Can he make the move? Not quite. Bunnies maintains the lead for now, ahead of Wendigo, but Wendigo is making it clear he intends to make this move sooner rather than later. Ajax behind is still ahead of Tamo, but Tamo's putting pressure on him. Same place as we just saw Wendigo looking for a move on Bunnies, but Tamo doesn't back out. He stays on the outside. Can he pull off the move? Ajax breaks a bit later, a bit too late. He's into the gravel a little bit. Manages to keep the momentum, but that is Tamo comfortably through. What a move from Tamo. Goes round the outside of that crazy kink to the left and absolutely holds in there, forces his opponent into a mistake, and Tamo is up into the podium positions, as you can see the moon behind with a bit of an orange glow. Silent Wolf on hard. Ooh, is he going a bit wide there? I thought he was into the grass for a moment. Not quite. Marigistan being on medium speed, looking to pressure Silent Wolf here. And I do agree, though, with Aloe in the chat. The Ferrari has very strong straight line speed. In fact, we're coming up to a section here where I think Slenderfella may be able to show it off. He'll sit in the slipstream, and he should have very good straight line speed down here. Let's watch them through Fluke Flats. Slenderfella is gaining. He's gaining. Is he going to go for the move to the outside of the Beans Beetle? Can he make the move in the Ferrari? Round the outside. What a move. He pulls it off, but Aloe's going to look. He can't quite get him back. Aloe's going to have to sit behind for now. Will Aloe be able to get the slipstream, make a move back soon? This is entering possibly the hardest section of the Nordschleife to overtake in. If not, maybe the second hardest section, the bit after the carousel. Effectively, the bit between the first and second carousels is really tough to overtake in as well. But I would say from about that right-hander and then under the bridge, the area where Slenderfella made the move until probably the long straight up towards Courage, I would say that is also a very difficult place to overtake in. This double left-hander, no real opportunities through here. Slenderfella a bit wide there. Aloe's going to gain on him a little bit. It doesn't look like it'll be enough on this occasion for the Beans Beetle, though. Heinz Beans. Sutkus in 9th. Bloodraven in 10th. Ben in 11th. Sarlacc in 12th. Where is Sarlacc? There you are. There is Sarlacc. A little bit of lag there, unfortunately, for Sarlacc, so it looks like maybe the internet connection not quite as strong as you would hope. Kaiser Grim, through the same complex of corners now. On mediums, the Swede is looking to hopefully catch and gain some positions. Bunnies ahead of Wendigo. Wendigo looks like he's dropping off the back of Bunnies just a little bit, but he may be fuel saving. He does seem to have a little bit more left in the tank than Bunnies. Up to YouTube Corner now, I believe this is. Yes. YouTube Corner, nicknamed that because that's where everybody crashes when they're posting stuff on YouTube. Ajax in 4th. Silent Wolf in 5th. He is, of course, on an outlap on these hard compound tires. It'll be interesting to see how much or little Marigistan is able to gain on him. Actually, possibly Silent Wolf just ran a little bit wide. So Marigistan actually right on the back of him. So instead of how much he gains or fails to gain on him, I think it'll be mostly interesting to see just where he is in comparison. Is he able to pull off an overtake? I think Silent Wolf is struggling a little bit on those hards. You can see him taking some wider lines, struggling to carry speed. He's fast, but the hards don't work well for anybody in this game. Silent Wolf looked like it was a little bit of a mistake from the exit of YouTube. We'll watch them get some airtime over the jump that they're coming up to here. There goes Silent Wolf. Here goes Marigistan, and you could just see the way it clatters back onto the ground, does that McLaren. This is such... I genuinely, this is one of my favorite tracks in the world. It is a fantastic track. It is unbelievably dangerous. It is outdated, frankly. It is narrow. It's beautiful, really. It's fantastic. The Green Hell is what it was nicknamed by Jackie Stewart. That is the nickname that everybody who knows the Nordschleife knows. It is quite something of a track, as our frontrunners are into the pit lane now for what will be, I would assume, their last stops. No, apologies, actually. Bunnies needs to make one more stop after this, because he has to run softs and hards, so one of those will be put on this time. Wendigo, though, can just go onto mediums to the end of the race. Bunnies is done refueling. He'll be going out now. It'll be one lap on these tires. Wendigo's done refueling as well. He's also only going to go one lap on these tires. Bunnies puts on a set of the hards. Wendigo puts on a set of the mediums, but only for one lap. So Wendigo is going to need to pit again despite putting on mediums. I wonder if that was a mistake on the refueling. Wendigo is going to be on mediums. He's going to pit at the end of this lap, as is his teammate, but he does have the tire advantage here. Wendigo has the tire advantage. He can hopefully get through on Bunnies and take the lead of the race. He'll want to pull away. That way, when he pits, he has a big enough gap. He can put on the softs and stay ahead of Bunnies to the end of the race. Silent Wolf in third. He's on hards. He'll be boxing at the end of this lap. Ajax right behind on softs. I think that means Ajax will need to run hards for the final lap of this race. Tamo on mediums. Fresh out of the pits, Tamo's going to go to the end of this race on mediums. He is looking pretty. He'll jump ahead of Silent Wolf and Ajax. But provided he doesn't make some mistakes and drop way behind them, of course. As Silent Wolf, just out braking himself there, manages to, big snap of oversteer. I was gonna say manages to nicely cut back into the corner and continue on with some good momentum, but then a big snap of oversteer there compromises his exit. Tamo, in fifth, is gonna look to put some pressure on Silent Wolf next. Meridius Tam, fresh out of the pits on a fresh set of mediums. He'll go to the end of the race from here. Slenderfella, Aloe, Sutkus, and Bloodraven all in the pits. Ben will follow them in. Sarlacc will follow them in. Kaiser should go another lap. And Wendigo is putting pressure on Bunnies. Bunnies does not want to give up this position, though. Bunnies ahead for now, but Wendigo with the tire advantage will be desperate to get through. He wants to make sure he can win this race. These two both will have to pit next lap. Wendigo shouldn't need to, but his fuel means that he will have to. Presumably he'll put on softs next stint. Bunnies will definitely be on softs next stint. Bunnies through Flug Flats. Wendigo is right behind him in the slipstream. Ajax sitting comfortable. Then it's Silent Wolf. Then it's Tamo. Meridius Tam still on the GP circuit. Aloe onto mediums will go to the end of the race. Slenderfella on mediums go to the end of the race. Bloodraven on hards will not go to the end of the race. Sutkus on mediums will go to the end of the race. Ben on hards will not. Kaiser on mediums will not. Sarlacc on mediums will. Oh, there's been a spin! Wendigo is around! What has happened here? It's Bunnies and Wendigo side by side. Wendigo on the outside. And I wonder if there was contact there, but the camera angle's just not showing it. We'll go on board with Wendigo, sitting inside his car. You can see Bunnies to the left there. We're coming up to the crest of the hill to the left, and then a kink to the left over another crest of a hill. Oh, and it looks like there is contact there. And Wendigo is forced off the track, onto the grass. Does Bunnies avoid getting hit by him? He does. But Wendigo fully spins it around. Wendigo is off the track following contact with his teammate and championship rival. Wendigo is around. Bunnies is waiting for him. Bunnies knows he caused that. He's waiting for Wendigo. He's going to let him through. Wendigo is going to get into first now. Wendigo's lifting off. Wendigo is not going through on Bunnies. So Bunnies decides to maintain the position. So following contact, Bunnies tries to let Wendigo through, but that does not happen. So Bunnies will maintain the position. That is contact for these two. Ajax is still a ways behind, but he gains a lot. Tamo and Silent Wolf as well. Tamo is through on Silent Wolf. How has Tamo pulled this off? It's at the same corner as Bunnies and Wendigo had their contact. Tamo, what a move, down the inside, takes advantage of his better tires, and he is through on Silent Wolf. Tamo, apologies, up to 4th position. The Lithuanian driver through on the Mauritian. Oh, Silent Wolf's going to try and shove it up the inside. He can't quite pull it off. Ajax has gone round. Ajax has crashed. This is an unbelievable lap. We're only like a quarter of the way through, getting close to half, about a third of the way through lap 7. And it's all happening here. Oh, it looks like Ajax just got on the grass, under braking, and he spins round. He does get going nicely, though, I will say. He's recovered quickly, but he drops 2 positions from that. Silent Wolf back up to 4th, Tamo into the podium positions. Wendigo still putting pressure on his teammate. He is desperate to get through. Following that contact, though, I wonder if he'll be a little bit more cautious around his teammate, not wanting to get into another incident. I think Bunny's trying to let Wendigo through, clearly showing that he felt he was at fault there. But Wendigo will not want to put himself in a position where he's at the risk of being taken out by his teammate again, I don't think. Wendigo will not want to experience that. Wendigo, while he's on the mediums, he's still looking better for the win than Bunnies, but Bunnies will have softs next stint. Wendigo presumably will as well, so they're looking overall pretty even here. Wendigo right behind Bunnies. Tamo is ahead of Ajax now properly. Silent Wolf. Silent Wolf's got damage. Silent Wolf has crashed as well. Who isn't crashing here? Silent Wolf. What has happened here? On board with the Mauritian driver. Hits the brakes. Ooh, over the curb and into the wall. We've seen mistakes like that frequently. I believe, actually, last time we came here in GTE, Ajax made that mistake in his Porsche on the opening lap of the race. So, Silent Wolf following suit of the driver that is now ahead of him. Mauritius Tam in 6th, sitting... I'd feel pretty lonely if I was Mauritius Tam right now. I hope he's got something to entertain him. I hope he enjoys driving this track at least, because this has got to be a bit of a lonely race at this stage for him. We have Slenderfella right behind Aloe, so some battling going on here between the Volkswagen and Ferrari teams. These guys are, team-wise, 2nd and 1st in the championship. Ferrari, of course, leading Volkswagen after a historic 1-2-3 finish in St. Croix. There has never been a 1-2 before in GTE, before last week, of course, and they did not just a 1-2, but a 1-2-3. The only thing that could be better is a 1-2-3-4. But Slenderfella, sitting at 8th right now, looks like it won't be a 1-2-3-4 on this occasion. But the Ferraris do sit 1-2-3 in the race as it stands. Bunny's ahead of Wendigo, ahead of Tamo. Oh, Slenderfella just got past Aloe. How did I miss that? I look away for 1 second and he picks that as his moment to make the move. How does Slenderfella do this? Where is Aloe? God, these trees make it impossible. What? Am I going insane? How did he do this? Couldn't see what was going on with all those trees. How does he... Okay, Aloe runs wide and Slenderfella is able to pick up the pieces of the mistake. Okay. That was impossible to see with the trees. I had no idea what was going on. I just, like, eventually Slenderfella was through, and I was like, okay, sure, I don't know how that happened. Bloodraven's not actually too far off the back of these guys. He's not within striking distance, but will he appear there? Not quite. He's not crazy far behind. Neither is Sutkus. Sutkus sitting not far behind his teammate. I believe Sutkus and Bloodraven battling a little bit towards the end of the last round. Ben in 11th. Oh, that Mercedes is looking like it's proving very difficult for him. It's actually got front-end damage, so it seems like lap 7 is the... One could say this is a race of attrition, but it seems like lap 7 is the lap of attrition. Bunnies and Wendigo right nose to tail, getting airtime, blinding us whenever they get the opportunity with their combined 8 headlights. Down towards the complex, including the second carousel. Under braking, Bunny's still ahead of Wendigo. Through the left-hander, next corner is the second carousel. Wendigo to the inside. Can Wendigo pull off the move? He goes down the inside into the second carousel. That is bold. But what it will do is give Bunny's slipstream down the long straight. So Wendigo takes the lead, but possibly at the most inopportune part of the entire track. Bunnies will sit in his slipstream. Tamo's still in third. Fourth is Ajax. Fifth is Silent Wolf. We'll go back up to the front. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything going on too chaotic behind. You can see the castle in the background there as Bunnies looks to regain the lead of this race in the slipstream behind the Arc Raiders Ferrari. It's Speed Racer versus Arc Raiders. There's Speed Racer's game. There's Speed Racer games. One could argue this is a battle of the video games. Although originally Speed Racer an anime and then a live-action movie and many other things. I think Speed Racer is very cool, but Bunnies does indeed pull off the move with the slipstream. He is back ahead of Wendigo, and into the pits the two of these drivers will go. Bunnies on 9%, so Wendigo has 3% more fuel left. I wonder if that will be enough to jump him in the pit lane. These two drivers getting towards their pit boxes now. Tamo behind. Tamo can continue on this lap. He doesn't need to pit again. Ajax in fourth. Fifth is Silent Wolf. Sixth is Mergis Tam. Seventh is Slenderfella. Eighth is Aloe. Ninth is Bloodraven and Sutkus. As Tamo has jumped ahead of Bunnies, actually. Tamo's going to lead this race onto the final lap. Tamo takes turn 1 in the lead of the race on his medium compound tires. Bunnies comes out of the pits on softs. Wendigo on softs as well. But Tamo's ahead of both of them. Tamo has a huge gap. Well, it's not gigantic, but it's big enough. He is looking comfortable here, actually. This is going to be a tall order for these two to try and catch and pass Tamo. Wendigo and Bunnies were fighting for the win, but suddenly they're fighting to get up to and past Tamo. Tamo has put himself in a prime position to win this race. It's Bunnies and Wendigo here on lap 8 that are battling. Wendigo looks to the inside of the hairpin. Can Bunnies defend? He brakes later. He holds the position for now, does he? Wendigo looked like he got better acceleration, but Bunnies has track position still. Bunnies holds P2, then it's Wendigo. Ajax behind in fourth, out of the pits now, on a set of hards. Silent Wolf has softs. Silent Wolf will look very fast on this last lap. Mergis Tam on mediums in sixth. Seventh is Slenderfella, still on the Nordschleife. So as Slenderfella comes up to the end of the Nordschleife here, in seventh position, he should continue on at the end of this lap without pitting. He exits the Nordschleife as Mergis Tam, the driver behind him, goes through the hairpin at the bottom of the GP circuit and heads now back up the GP circuit and towards the Nordschleife again. So that is the massive gap between P6 and P7. Tamo leads the way. Aloe in 8th is not too far off of Slenderfella. You can see Slenderfella, you can see the rear headlights there. The tail lights even. Sutkus in 9th. Bloodraven does pit, so Sutkus is lost his little battle buddy now. But Sutkus will continue on to the final lap on his own, on those mediums. Bloodraven is on hards currently. I don't know what he'll put on. Maybe softs, I would guess. With only one lap left, I would imagine everyone will be putting on softs. Ben off of the hards, Kaiser off the mediums, and Sarlacc looks like he'll continue on this lap on the mediums. Bloodraven comes out of the pits on softs, as Sarlacc pointing out that Wendigo seems the only car with LED. Oh, as Wendigo, sorry, I'll get back to that in a moment. Wendigo looking to the outside. There was contact here between these two on the previous lap. Is Wendigo bold enough to try it again? No, he backs out this time. Thinks better of it. And Sarlacc pointing out the LEDs on the side of Wendigo's car. He seems to be the only one that has them, pointing to what position he is in. Let's go take a look at the side of Tamo's car. He does not have it. Bunny's does not have it. Wendigo does, so I believe that is a correct observation, Sarlacc. Well spotted. And I will say, I do like that. I like those LEDs. I think they look very cool. WEC did them for a while. I went to a WEC race in 2025. I always thought those LEDs were very cool, but WEC's new screens on the side of their cars are really cool. They show the number position, not just if you're top 3 or not, but they show your position. And I think that's really, really useful. Of course, if you're watching on TV, you have the position ladder on the left side of your screen. You can see what position they're in there. But if you're sitting at the track, just watching the cars go around, you're going to lose context of an endurance race impressively quickly. So having that position board on the sides is really, really useful. GT7 doesn't have that implemented, and the LEDs look really cool, I will say. So I do love that, I really like that Wendigo's car has them. But in real life, I have to say, those position boards that WEC added for 2025 were a brilliant decision. Silent Wolf in 4th. 5th is Ajax. He is looking to put pressure on Silent Wolf, but I don't think that'll be happening. Ajax on hards, Silent Wolf on softs. That would be a very tough ask. Meridius Tam, in fact, on mediums might be looking to pressure Ajax before long. Slenderfella on mediums, Aloe on mediums, mediums for Sutkus, softs for Bloodraven, mediums for Sarlacc in 11th. 12th is Kaiser on softs, and Ben, having a rough round, is on softs as well. Tamo leads the way over the crest of the hill. He is weaving his way through the forest. It is the dead of night, but these drivers know they're coming to the end of the race, and Wendigo is through on Bunnies now. Where did he get that position? Wendigo to the inside for the right-hander before this long straight. He brakes a bit late. Bunnies might be able to get the run on him to get back through on him here alongside him, but Wendigo with the inside line for chunks of this, and he edges fully ahead now. Wendigo looks like he could close the door now. Can he? Yes, he can. Wendigo is fully ahead of Bunnies now. Wendigo takes P2. Bunnies in P3. Silent Wolf will be looking to hunt these two down, but I don't think he's got enough time for that. I think Silent Wolf will have to settle for P4. It looks like it'll be another 1-2-3 for Ferrari. The question is the order. Tamo is losing time to the two behind him, who are, of course, on fresh softs. Wendigo has just gotten ahead of Bunnies. We have about half a lap to go, maybe less, through the carousel for the final time for these two Ferrari drivers. It is Red Bull Ferrari, ahead of Arc Raiders Ferrari, ahead of Speed Racer Ferrari. We have a battle on our hands for the win in this final section of this race. Wendigo is looking good in second, but if Bunnies can stay on the back of him, he could get Slipstream down the long straight. If Wendigo can catch up enough, he could get Slipstream on Tamo down the back straight. Tamo is looking strong. Look at the gap he has. He goes through there now. It's maybe 4 or 5 seconds between these two drivers. About 4 seconds separates Wendigo and Tamo. That is my rough calculation. Bunnies behind will be about 4.5 seconds behind Tamo. Silent Wolf a little bit further back. Ajax looks like he won't have to worry about Meridius Tam too much, but if he makes them, he does have to be careful not to make any big mistakes here. Slenderfella ahead of Aloe. Sutkus behind. Bloodraven. Not under pressure from Sarlacc. Sarlacc not really under pressure from Kaiser. Kaiser is under pressure from Ben, though, so this will be a couple of guys to watch right to the end of the race. Tamo sits in the lead. He's caught air for what should be the last time in this race. So have these two. Ajax, or Silent Wolf, apologies, will be doing that himself in just a couple seconds. Let's watch him over the crest of this hill, this little jump, one last time. Silent Wolf, our reigning champion. It's been a hard season, but he's still able to get some highs there as he high flies over the crest of that hill. Tamo, onto the long straight. He looks like he's out of Wendigo's slipstream. Tamo could be safe here. Wendigo, I think, kicked up some dirt there for a moment. Bunnies behind him should be in the slipstream here. Bunnies will look to get the slipstream. Will he be able to make a move on Wendigo by the end of the straight? But Tamo is going to be looking in his mirrors, making sure his teammates can't get close enough to him. But Tamo should be safe here. I think Tamo has got this. He's pulled a blinder on strategy through the kink of the left-hander. Bunnies is not getting close enough to Wendigo. The slipstream isn't enough. Bunnies looks like he can't make the move on Wendigo, but Tamo, through the final couple of corners, we've had 2 winners in the first 2 rounds. First, it was Cool Dude Boy for Volkswagen. Second, it was Wendigo for Ferrari. But third, at the Green Hell, Tamo wins for Ferrari as well. Wendigo second, just barely ahead of Bunnies. It's gonna be Silent Wolf, the reigning champion, down the long straight. He should take 4th. Tamo, take a bow. You've nailed that strategy. You've nailed that driving. You have nailed this race. Congratulations, you are an SNL race winner. Silent Wolf a little bit wide there. Don't crash on the last corner, buddy. He looks like he's going to make it through all right. It's been a hard season for Silent Wolf, but he'll come home in 4th for the newly formed Mercedes team. Well done, Silent Wolf. After a lap 1 incident, he takes 4th. It'll be Ajax in 5th. Merigious Tam will come home in 6th. We've got 4 constructors in the top 6. I believe that's the first time this season. Aloe sits in 7th. Aloe's ahead of Slenderfella, in fact. Slenderfella is going to pull into the slipstream of Aloe. Can Slenderfella get through? We know this Ferrari has a strong top speed in the slipstream as well. Aloe moves to the right. Aloe moves back to the center of the circuit. He wants to break the slipstream, but he doesn't want to weave too much. It's going to be to the right goes Slenderfella. Can he pull off the move? Slenderfella, it's going to be the outside for the kink, but it doesn't matter. He's through, and he's going to break the slipstream himself now. Aloe's going to sit behind. The slipstream's not going to be enough. Slenderfella through, down the long straight, pulls off 7th position. If he can just get the braking right. He does. He's a little bit wide, but if he can get the acceleration too, he's going to have Aloe. He's got him. Slenderfella is going to come home in 7th. That's 4 Ferraris in the top 7. And it's going to be Aloe 8th behind Slenderfella. Sutkus in 9th. Bloodraven in 10th. 11th is Sarlacc. Ben has gotten through on Kaiser into 12th position. Makes a bit of a mistake there, but I think it looks like Kaiser has had an incident given he has a bit of damage there. Bloodraven in 10th. He's going to come home for McLaren to round out the top 10. Sutkus in 9th. Bloodraven, the Canadian. Let's see as he rounds the final couple of corners here. It's 10th position for the Canadian. Sarlacc will come home in 11th. The Mercedes team, they may have had 4th with Silent Wolf, but it's still been a difficult round for the German manufacturer. Sarlacc will come home 11th. After a difficult race, it's 11th for Sarlacc. It'll be Ben in 12th, taking the flag, and Kaiser will be marked as running, though will of course be 13th. But the replay would end in a moment. So there you have it. Tamo, not only does he take the fastest lap, but he takes the win as well, much more importantly. There you go. That is 3 winners in the first 3 rounds of Season 11 of GTE. This has been a phenomenal season. We have hit the halfway point of the season. We are beyond the halfway point of this season even. Tamo takes 1st position in this race, and he was not far off the championship lead. I don't think he'll quite grab the lead of the championship, but he certainly won't be far behind it. See if I can actually pull up the standings again. Let's see here. Standings. There they are. He was, if I can do the math, there we go. He was 8 points off the championship lead. I don't think he'll quite gain the championship lead, but I think he'll be about 2 or so points off of it. Bunnies will drop to about, or hang on, 25 points. Oh no, he'll be closer to about 4 points off the lead of the championship. Bunnies should sit about 1 point off the lead of the championship. So the 3 Ferraris that were 1, 2, 3 in the past 2 races should be 1, 2, 3 in the championship, separated by about 3 or 4 points. But Tamo takes victory today. Then it is Wendigo in second, unable to take the win this time. Bunnies, about a tenth and a half a tenth was it, off the back of Wendigo. Silent Wolf in fourth. It's a return to form for the reigning champion. Number 41 there, had the option to run number 1, chose not to this season. It's been a hard season so far, but Silent Wolf is starting to make up for it. We go to Laguna Seca next, where he'll hope to do even better. Ajax in 5th. Murrigistam in 6th, so 4 constructors in the top 6. And that's brilliant. Okay. That'll do. Slenderfella takes home 7th, ahead of Aloe, making 4 Ferraris in the top 7 and 2 Volkswagens in the top 8. It's a hard round for McLaren as they take 9th and 10th with Sutkus and Bloodraven. Sarlacc comes home in 11th, Ben in 12th, and Kaisergrim in 13th. I think many of those drivers will have been hoping for a slightly better round, but not everyone can have a good race at the same time. If everyone had a good race, nobody would have a good race. It's Tamo who takes victory with fastest lap, though. What a race. I imagine it was a bit difficult to see on for spectating. It was difficult to see as a commentator, but that is the nature of night racing. Next up is Laguna Seca. Last time we raced there, I think Matt Psycho won. I could be mistaken about that. It's been a while. Last time we raced there would have been season 7, I think, which is really quite a while ago. But at the end of the day, it's a great track. The corkscrew will be absolutely incredible to watch the cars going down. And I think we've got a fantastic championship battle in store for us. I cannot wait to see how it goes, and I cannot wait to see you guys all next time, a week from now, for round 4 of SNL GTE. Thank you to everybody who watched. Have a wonderful week. Have a good night. Goodbye.